want to have children that grow up to be doctors, lawyers. They want to be successful and fulfill all their dreams. But it begins when everybody, whether you're a parent, a grandparent, or a member of the body of Christ, when you represent those things that are about listening and hearing the voice of God. Look at the text. Joseph was not Jesus' dad. He was the stepdaddy. But even as the stepdaddy, he had good enough sense to listen to the daddy. He was given power to oversee and protect Jesus and Mary. So he had a responsibility to make certain that no matter what, he was going to watch over the promise of the world. You know who Jesus is. He's the one that's supposed to bring salvation to us that are lost, right? He's the promise that God made even back in Genesis. He's the one that's going to clean everything up and make us give us an opportunity to be whole with the Father again. Joseph had responsibility. His responsibility was at all costs to make certain nothing happened to his family. Can I step all the way in it before I even get into the point? How much does your family really mean to you? If you had no money, if you had no real means of spoiling children or yourself, would you still love your family enough to do whatever it took to keep them from the evils that could rip you apart? How much do we really love one another? Do we love each other enough to listen to God's voice in making wise decisions? Or are we just going to say, you know what? Forget about it. I'll trust myself. How much do we really love the family? Joseph got the dream. After the wise men had visited them, the wise men were sent by divine inspiration. They got to the place they were supposed to, but before they got to Jesus, you remember, they ran into a governor named Herod. Herod said, who are you looking for? The wise men said, we're looking for one who is born king of the Jews. And Herod, like any politician, got nervous in the service and said, you know what? You tell me where he is so I can follow and worship him. But his intent was to kill the child before the promise that lied within him could be fulfilled. That's a demonic assignment. I'll deal more with that next week. But here is a man who was more concerned about control over his little area and corner, that he heard about one born king of the Jews, and he didn't realize that this one born is not about being king of the Jews, but it was about saving that which was lost. He was focused on the material. He was focused on the positioning. He was focused on everything else. But the wise men go, and then God speaks to the wise men and said, you know what? Turn your route and go a different direction, and don't go back to Herod. Because Herod will not only try to find you and find out where the child is, but after he gets the information, he's going to kill you too. So they turn one direction. And then the angel goes and speaks to Joseph and said, you need to rise up from here. I know you're home. I know you're cool here, but it's not safe to be here. Direct yourself to Egypt, to a place nobody would even figure to look. And go there, hide out, so that you might protect the child. And he didn't just move, he moved quickly. He got up in the middle of the night, got them out, got them where they needed to be, and they were in Egypt, and they stayed until Herod died. When it comes down to protecting the promise God has entrusted to us, we have to be able to recognize when God is telling us to move. We have to recognize when the moment comes for us to be able to say, I know that God is working in this, and even though I can't see it or I don't understand it, I don't know how it's going to be made clear, I trust that God has my best interest in mind. Is there anybody here that's ever had to just trust one word from God and just hear him clearly enough to just move by faith without anything else interfering? I hope I'm in the right place. Every now and then you got to be able to know and distinguish God's voice from your own thoughts. You got to be able to distinguish that time is now to move on ahead rather than sit and be at ease in Zion, and recognize that if God is going to derail and move your pathway, that is for good reason. I got all that point one. Point one is divine direction. Divine direction has nothing to do with common reason. Divine direction has nothing to do with common reasoning. See, okay, last week I said when you sit in the chair, you don't analyze the chair, do you? You just what? Sit down. You don't even know if the chair is straight. You just what? Sit down. Because when you look at the chair, you're saying what? You believe that it's going to hold you up, that it's going to do exactly what it's supposed to do, and it's going to do its job. That's all you are concerned about. That's it. You're not worried about anything else. You just sit down. That's called faith. Faith is when you know beyond a shadow of a doubt and you trust that everything is going to be all right. And that's what it takes to be divinely directed, is to have faith knowing that God is going to lead you to a place that eventually everything is going to clear up. Now, why Egypt and not just go to another city? Because Herod was governor over what? Everything around. So why would I stay where I'm staying? Why would I stay in Bethlehem and say I'm going to run to Nazareth? If I run to Nazareth, guess what? They're going to find me in Nazareth. Why go from Nazareth to Jerusalem? Because that's the seat of the government. They'll find me there. Why go from there to Jericho? They're still going to find me. So why not be directed to a place that's going to take me outside of you? He that dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. What does that mean? God will cover you from all the things trying to track you down. Don't waste time or going places all in the open to say, well, I just don't think anything's going to happen. No, you got to know that God has your best interest in mind. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not to your own understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct what? Your path. He is the GPS. He's going to show you the alternate route. He's going to show you exactly where you need to go, how